you like to change it now? It's on all the flyers.
No, it would be. You have to hold that.
Yes.
That's our story.
That's our story.
Hello, everybody. It's time to make shift happen. Get ready to shift your perspective on life, people, and the world we live in. And here to help you do that are your shift chicks, Fran Holinda and Lisa A.
Hey shifters, it's Fran Holinda.
And it's Lisa A.
And we are ready to make shift happen. And we have an incredibly special show for you this evening. We are live, and you'll hear all the noise. We love all the noise. We are live from the Papermill Playhouse in beautiful Millburn, New Jersey. And we are here today with three people who are like, oh my gosh,
amazing.
We're like a little bit starstruck. We have to really be honest with you. We are here for almost the premiere of my very own British Invasion.
I know, isn't this exciting?
This is exciting. We have one of the stars of the show. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jonny Amies. I'm playing Peter Noon.
Peter Noon.
I love that voice.
We just want you to keep on talking. We're not going to listen. We also have Rick Elice.
Oh no, that is I.
That is you.
But you already have introduced me. So what do I say?
Yes,
it is true. I'm here.
You're here.
And sitting next to me is Jerry Mitchell, the much awarded director choreographer.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I understand. I understand you have a few credits under your belt. So should we go left to right, right to left? How do they do it in England?
In Israel, they go right to left.
Which is why we wandered for so long, because we can't find our way.
There you go.
Am I up first? Great.
Right. So we're going to go we're driving on the left side of the road today.
Let's do it. Nice.
So you are adorable, but you're also
first of all,
quite
adorable,
young.
Yes.
I am.
How does it feel to play somebody who's really quite historic?
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, it's a huge honor. I think as an actor, it's an interesting complex because you're not an impersonator, you know. So there's if people are coming to the show, they shouldn't expect to see Peter Noon when he was 17 years old. You know, they should expect to see Jonny Amies performing a character in a play. You know, because even though. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rick. This is based on real events. I knew I was going to set him up for something.
And he's hogging the mic.
I literally did it in the first line. I've set him up for a horrible joke. So like even though it's roughly based on true events and things and the like of that, is, you know, it is a show that's been fabricated and dramatized, and so I'm playing a character who happens to share the name of Peter Noon. And of course, there are little traits and things that I will nick as part of research, but it's only the same that I would have done for take. You know, make my own.
We're mesmerized. We're just staring deep into his eyes, just listening to his eyes.
Unfortunately, I guess the listeners don't have that luxury.
No, they don't.
They just have to listen to this drone of English voice. But
where are you from in England, John?
Well, thanks, Rick.
Where are you from? Where are you from in Hoboken?
What part of Newark did you grow up in?
I'm from the south, so I grew up outside of London, and then my family now live in Brighton, down by the south coast.
Wow, nice.
And I now reside back in London. It's very eventful.
So really, you're here for the show? Really, you came?
I've come over for the show. Jerry came over for one of my auditions.
Nice.
To London, picked me out, and here I am.
So don't you love beautiful Jersey?
I love Jersey. Yeah, it's insane. And I had the luxury of rehearsing over in New York to begin with, which was lovely to get the city taste and the heart of America, and then come over to Jersey, which is beautiful. Can you just wait your turn? I mean, come on, what is this order? You can tell Rick is not a Brit because patience is not. Hey, I'm nicking words from the show here.
You're nicking. We're going to start. We're going to start saying the word.
We can start Jonny Amies' vocabulary.
That's
okay.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Let's pass the mic for a moment.
Thank you.
For our listeners who aren't aware of what the show is, we're with Rick.
Yes.
Your role in the show and how it all came about.
I'm the writer.
He's the writer. Paperback writer.
I'm from way south England, called
Staten Island,
called Queens, New York.
That's really south.
What's the show about?
About 2.5 hours long. Hey, thank you very much.
With the intermission,
we're here almost all week.
Well, you're here for the next 10 minutes now.
It's about that thing called love. Like all the great stories.
Of course.
It's a great love story. And this is a love story of very, very young people, much younger than Jonny over here.
Really?
Teenagers. Teenagers
okay.
in love. You know, when we all were kind of stupid and we all did really stupid things.
I'm still that way.
But for that one reason, you know, because of that heart muscle, you know, and it has this amazing score because it is set in the years 64 to 66 as the British invasion was happening.
So awesome
as
music.
It begins the night the Beatles come over and play Ed Sullivan show and changed everything
forever.
Well, you ladies are too young to remember, but
Shame.
Jerry,
Thank you for
but
that.
Jerry remembers.
But thank you, and we appreciate that.
Johnny, you have no idea.
Jerry drove them from the airport. No kidding.
The Beatles before this show. Yeah, that's
Really?
Sorry, they're a group. It's a British group.
So you lived under a rock
we
in
nicked
England.
them.
I actually was brought up on this music from my parents. It wasn't force fed, but it was fed to me from the day I popped out.
I'm getting nauseous just listening to this stuff about food.
He just
food.
spews.
The English are just all they talk about is feeding. So that's what it's about. It's about love, and it ends very, very bittersweetly.
Oh, really?
Do we need to bring tissues?
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy.
There won't be a dry seat in the theater.
Well, that's not a tissue.
Is that from the
Sorry,
pints
and,
or the car?
and with that, I'm passing it along now to
Yes,
the director.
that was a very interesting
Well, wait, though,
segue.
but before you go, come back. Before you go, I would like
You're
you
going to give me another chance?
to let you toot your own horn a little bit because you have
My
you
horn?
guys have
Yes.
some
Tell us
serious
about
you
your
guys have some
credentials
serious
here.
credentials here, and I don't like
Talk
to
to
read them.
us.
We like you guys to tell about yourselves.
Well,
This isn't your
it's
first
hard for me
rodeo.
because I'm in the witness protection program, so
That's okay.
I have to keep a...
We already told them. Well, we already told them where
This is
you
all
were.
fake. Don't worry about it.
What should I say?
Tell us what your
Do you want me to?
background.
Do you want me to read you your bio?
So I look. I started very, very late. Otherwise, I'd have more credits. I had so many things to do before I got to do this thing. But writing for the theater, I suggest everybody try because I only started doing it about 15 years ago, and I've had a blast for 15 years.
Late bloomers bloom the brightest, you know.
Well, thanks to people like Jerry who say, would you like to work with me? And I always say yes because I don't have that much time left, So I want to book myself in as much work as I possibly can and learn from people like Jonny and Jerry.
Jonny and Jerry. The Jerry.
So
Johnny Jerry.
what? Elaborate.
Okay. So I wrote Jersey Boys with the legendary Marshall Brickman.
Awesome.
I loved every minute of it.
Bless your heart.
I loved it.
We're obviously in Jersey
Yes.
here, talking to you. And I grew up in Manhattan, and I tell this only because it makes me look like a schmuck. We were raised to sort of not even look in this direction. Everyone felt very, very snobby about New Jersey and in New York, and it was sort of the joke state. And then 15 years ago, I found myself in a dark Italian restaurant on 46th Street.
Sounds like a Billy Joel song.
And across the table was Frankie Valli and Bob Gaudio, the principal songwriter for the Four Seasons, and they asked me to write this show, and I owed Marshall Brickman a lot of poker money, and I said,
I have no choice.
If you write a show with me, will you cancel the debt? And so he said, I don't know how to write a show. I've never written a show before. He's an Oscar-winning screenwriter, but he'd never written for the theater. And I said, well, neither have I. So we'll only waste each other's time, but maybe we'll have some fun.
And I get to stay alive for a little bit longer. Nothing broken.
Yeah. So that's how I got started in this wacky business. And then I just about a month ago we opened the Share Show. Which is fun to say, the Share Show.
Share Show. How many times fast?
And
she shows up at the Share Show.
Oh God, we can't get rid of that woman. She's always there. She's always asking for free T-shirts. It's terrible.
Babe.
Seats and front row seats.
What else? What else do you want?
Wait, how intimidating? I have to ask this question because the people that you've written about are very much alive and well.
Yeah.
How intimidating is that, though? Seriously, because they can see your work.
Right,
you
to
have
write about
people
them. They're still
portraying
alive.
them on stage. What does that feel like?
It must be. I'm guessing because no one would do a musical about my life because it would be really dull. But I'm guessing that it's surreal to watch yourself, especially when it comes to the intermission. Because by then you're kind of into it, and if suddenly everyone gets up and leaves for a smoke. I think it takes a lot of a lot of moxie to say, go ahead, put my life up there, warts and all, because you could write kind of an airbrushed version, which probably would be easier for them to approve, but much less interesting for an audience. So you want to get down to the nitty gritty about people's lives, and in theory, they say, oh yes, absolutely do that. And then you give them the disclaimer, which is, okay, here's what you're going to say. That's not what I really did. That's not what I really said. That's not who I really said it to. That's not where it really happened. That's not what I was really wearing. And none of that matters, because we're trying to not do a documentary. We're trying to do a theater piece. We're trying to tell a story that's going to make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. And I'm glad you asked the question, because, of course, we're doing that with this show, too. So I'm trying to bring it back to, to our little, what's it called? My very own version. I know what it's called. I was just joking. I was just being silly. I was just being silly.
And do you stand up on the side as well?
But Peter Noon, of course, is a real guy too.
Yeah.
And he also said, that's, this isn't what really happened. No, but we're not doing a documentary. We're trying to make a show.
And entertaining. Not everything in real life is so entertaining. So you have
well,
to
if you want to make an entertaining
show,
show, do you know the first thing that you do?
Lie.
You call Jerry Mitchell. That's Mitchell.
Are you just trying to get the
He's
mic
in the
passed
book.
to him?
He's in the book, and I'm now passing the mic to Jerry.
Well,
all the other questions have to come to him. He's the captain of our little ocean liner.
Oh, okay.
He's the one who keeps it afloat every day.
I noticed by his uniform.
And let me just say, before you even open your mouth, that it would be impossible. It would take the rest of our time on the air to go through what you have accomplished in your short time on this earth.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Very short.
Very short. Unbelievable. I mean, just some of the highlights. Give us some of the highlights.
Well, I've worked at the Papermill Playhouse. I danced here in 1983 in a show called Robert and Elizabeth.
Really? My goodness.
Yes. And then I did a show called Follies. Here with Ann Miller. She was the star.
Wow.
And a lot of other fabulous ladies. But it was all before I ever got a Broadway show.
How do you make that transition? I mean, from dancer to choreographer to director. I mean, that's a big,
that's
literally a giant leap.
The funny thing is I think I was always a choreographer when I was even a kid in school. And so dance was really something that spoke to me. And telling stories through physical movement was something that I would always lean towards. And then as I became more of a professional dancer, I always wanted to assist the choreographer and work with the choreographer. And I was lucky. I got to New York, and the first person I worked for was Agnes DeMille, and then it was Michael Bennett, and then it was Jerry Robbins. And these were the people who created some of the greatest musicals any of us have ever seen. So I sort of got to work with them and train under them. And I knew I wanted to be a choreographer. So what better school to go to than to sit by their side for a couple of years each and watch them work and learn.
So it was in your
How
blood.
does it feel to see something like we consider ourselves creative in one sense, but nothing like what you guys are doing. When you listen to your words, you're speaking the words, you're writing the words, and you're directing, and you're putting the dance moves, and you're watching people bring to life the stories that you're telling. How does that feel?
When it all comes alive.
What Rick was saying about, we're trying to tell a theatrical dramatization of an idea that's not realistic. The theater is always about big ideas, I think, not realistic ideas. And when you see it all come together, and it doesn't always come together. Another great thing that Rick said is nobody does a show to make it bad.
Right. Well,
we all do it. We all do it to make it the very best it can be, and sometimes they fly, and sometimes they don't.
Thank you.
And but the passion you put into it is because you love love the idea, and you love that story, and you want to tell it. And then you get to work on it. Sometimes when it's fabulous, it's fabulous. And even when it isn't fabulous, it's fabulous because you learn from the things that don't fly just as much as you learn from the things that do.
Well, why don't you tell us about some of the things that have flown?
Yeah, you've flown.
For me?
You've flown quite a few things.
Well, Kinky Boots is finishing its 6th year on Broadway.
Yes,
and in April, and it's been a blessing to be a part of it, to work with Cindy and Harvey and
that must have been
make that show. We had a great time. I just finished Pretty Woman on Broadway, which is exciting, with Bryan Adams writing the score, and got to work with the late, great Gary Marshall, which was truly amazing.
Awesome.
See, now that was one I have to tell you, when people say to you, what's your favorite movie? Pretty Woman is one of the first movies that comes to mind.
1,000 times.
When I first heard that it was going to be a Broadway musical, I was like, huh.
Yeah.
But the little snippets that I've seen, I haven't had the pleasure to see the show. I'm like, I could see how this is going to fly.
Well, it was Gary's idea, Gary Marshall's idea. He wanted it as a musical. He grew up in the theater, grew up in Queens, right? And he's a New Yorker. His mom was a dance teacher. And he always wanted to see it as a musical. And he wanted to do it for his nieces. His granddaughters and family members. He wanted them to see it. So we did it. We made it work for Gary.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's awesome
All of
story.
you are so successful. All right, let's send the mic back to Jonny.
No, I want to tell you one story about
please.
Jonny.
Yes.
So we had worked on the show, and we'd done several readings, and we were working in New York, and we needed to cast the role of Peter Noon. And I saw a bunch of actors in New York City who were all wonderful. But I didn't quite feel like I had nailed it. And I was going over to London to work on Kinky Boots, which was running on the West End. And so I told my casting director in London, I said, set up some guys for me to see in London. I'm coming over. It's an English role anyways. And went over, and Jonny walks into the room and completely...
You knew it immediately.
You transformed into Peter,
just
right?
everything. It was the sound of his voice. He sings. When he sings, it sounds like it comes from the 60s. He's got an ability to really take you back to the period, what I call the innocence of the period. And this story is about a young man who's completely innocent and falls into a love story that he can't quite handle. And that's what was so compelling for me to see that in him. And he's a damn good musician. He plays the guitar like
Really?
anybody. He's an amazing musician.
Hey, let's see. I'm looking at you. Are you
Actor,
blushing?
musician,
You are
singer.
blushing
I
a
mean, he
little.
really has it all, and it was a perfect match.
And as audience members,
And you'd never been to New York, right? This
So
was
this
his
is- so you
first
brought
time
him
coming
to
to
New York.
America.
ticket.
Wow.
Welcome to America.
Now you can talk.
But you know what? As
kind, Jerry,
audience
thanks.
members for Broadway and plays and television and movies, if you cannot connect with a character, if they're not believable in
Yeah,
their role,
it's done.
then everything is lost for us. So it's credit. It's a lot of pressure, I think, to find that right person that speaks to everybody. We are so excited. We're going to be here on the February 10th.
The
I
10th.
believe.
Great.
So we cannot wait. Yes,
That is. Well,
Hey,
yeah.
we got connections too now.
Well, and as well, you'll find that it's not. That was very kind of Jerry to say, but you'll find that it's not just for me. It's not even just for the principals. The whole of the cast. It feels like we've been plucked out of this era.
Well, see that, and
Very
that's the thing.
unique. Very unique.
Sorry about that. We
No,
can
yeah,
become,
sorry.
become a
We're
share,
trying to
the
balance,
sharing
yeah.
of the
Add that to
microphone.
your
Yeah.
resume,
Yeah.
interviewer. Right?
yeah, right.
Right. Well, David Frost.
So,
Just hold the microphone over.
how trained are you? I mean, was this something you
How
inspired?
trained am
like,
I? Well,
Well, he
I'll leave that
sits.
up to the
We know
audience.
he can sit,
yeah, I
sing.
I trained for 3 years at a drama school called Italia Conti in South London, and I graduated from that in the summer. And then from that, I've done one job for the screen, and then jumped on this ship. So I'm fresh out of drama school, but I have those 3
you're
years
ready
under
to
my
soar.
belt.
Well, he's a little wet behind the ears there, isn't he? Isn't that perfect, though? Yeah, perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
I've been blessed somehow to with luck for this. It really was like one of those parts where you read it on the page and you just feel like it's right. So
the day that you auditioned, I always like to know, like, you woke up that morning. Did you know you were going to do this? Like, you planned on it, right? What was going on in your head when and did you sing? What did he have to sing and dance? Do like a whole number for you?
Yeah.
A packet. He had a packet from us of some of the songs and some of the scenes, and he came in and did it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, it was quite a lot. And actually, for me, I'm not musically theatre trained, so I'm an actor. That's kind of
Right.
how I've been trained, as opposed to a lot of people in the cast who are fabulous dancers and sing. They're triple threats, I've always been a one lane kind of guy, but I have also played in bands from a very young age, which is why 60s music does come naturally to me, as opposed to maybe musical theatre stuff. I was nervous as hell, especially on the
You're
day.
supposed to be, I guess.
Especially with this
especially on the
group
day
here.
that Jerry Mitchell was there as well. I mean, it was like waking up and you kind of a little bit, your feet don't really touch the ground until the next morning, you know.
Awesome.
And especially when you have to play guitar and sing in front of the likes of Jerry and Jill Green, who's the casting director in the UK. It is a nerve-wracking experience because not only are you auditioning for this role, you're auditioning for those people who may well see you and then decide, I may put him in this or I may not, but if I do, if I don't, I want him to go into another show or whatever.
It's such an interesting thing for him to know that at such a young age,
Yes.
whether that came from your training or whatever, because I say it to kids all the time. I say, when you go into an audition for a musical, you may not get that musical, but that audition may put a lasting memory in that director or casting person's head that when 3 years from now, when they're looking for so-and-so for this part, they go, that kid,
Remember
got to
him.
have that
Remember
kid
that
come back
person.
in.
Right.
Because you're not just auditioning for that part, you're auditioning for the people who I have 5 musicals I'm working on.
Just 5.
So when someone comes in, often I write on
Poor
the
guy.
picture, not right for this. Let me see him for this and pass it over.
And that's that's actually kind of a life lesson, really, when you think about it. Any job interview, if you will, or anything that it's important to make a good impression. Let's face it.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
obviously, you didn't. Now, what is the process? So he auditioned. How long does it take from the time that you auditioned to the time you knew that you act that you
As soon as he left the room, I said, he's it.
seriously?
Yeah.
Here's your ticket to America.
And then I videotaped it and we sent it off to you guys, I think. To you. Well,
To
to
Rick.
you.
Oh, Jerry, did you meet Rick?
Do
Jerry?
you and who else? Maybe to Craig and Hal, I think, and Lon, yeah. Because they weren't with me.
I have to ask you this question as a dancer. How in hell do you guys remember all of those
know, that's
steps?
amazing,
I mean,
right?
I just watch the little stupid dancing shows on
I don't
television.
remember anything. I just improv.
No, but seriously. When people are trained, like you
amazing.
have to learn so quickly. Forget memorizing your lines, right? Now
And
you have
everybody's
songs.
staying coordinated together. It's like, oh my God.
I think there's something about maybe it's just your bodies move because you're natural dancers, but I am always amazed at how people in your profession can do it. I can't do the Macarena.
If you were a doctor, you would know how to perform an operation.
Practice with those
but
poor
this is
people in between.
They're artists and they're and they're very pampered, of course. But they are
Yes, they are.
but they are professionals. They take it very, very seriously. You heard he went to school for 3 long years.
Horrible,
3 whole
horrible,
years he
tortured
studied,
years.
and he never even got to musical theater. It was all the classics. It was just the classics.
He skipped that day. Well, see, that's true. That's true raw talent. That's somebody who really is a natural, and I do believe that. I think there are people who are truly gifted.
It's true.
Absolutely.
It's true. When Jerry sent
Absolutely.
the video overseas to those of us that the producers wouldn't pay to go over in person.
Sorry, you have to paddle your own way across.
I was so impressed. I was concerned because his feet weren't touching the floor, but everything else about him, was just perfect.
Well, and before we have to let you guys go because you guys are on a tight schedule, talk about the writing. When you write something and you're working with these actors, is it kind of like touch and go if they're not quite doing it the way you envisioned it? Do you let them improvise?
Yeah, 'cause I'm sure you have
and
something
kind of
in your
tweak
head,
things? Yeah, like
you
you
know.
have a vision of what you want if they're not quite there. Is that difficult?
Well,
pampered
I mean,
crew.
there's 1,000 jokes,
Oh, go ahead.
But there's 1,000 jokes. There's 1,000 jokes. Here's the thing, though, because we're going to wrap up. So here's an actual idea.
Okay.
Perfection is a moving point, especially in the theater. So even if I get it right, or I think I've gotten it right today, typing something, tomorrow I'll probably change my mind. And even if Jerry thinks he's staged the perfect number, tomorrow he's going to come in and improve it. And even if Jonny thinks, I totally nailed that scene, tomorrow he's going to not even be sure what exactly he did. So perfection is always moving around. That's what we chase. We chase that feeling of, wow, I got it right, knowing that tomorrow you're going to have to reevaluate it all over again.
Right.
Then that's why the theater as
Sure,
a
it's always
live
changing.
event is so much cooler than television or film. We don't have to get it right once. So you never have to worry about chasing perfection, but we chase it every single day, and that's a great privilege and a joy to watch from a distance, like I get to do. Of course, it's irritating when they start making it up, But eventually they learn it. And actually, Jonny, I keep say actually like it's a notable
yes,
difference.
We need to make sure we say our.
But Jonny, because he's trained, learns the script verbatim, which is a special privilege.
Good boy.
He's very,
Good boy.
very.
So
he's
see, he
very,
is well
very
trained.
good.
He's well trained.
But it's always changing. I mean, I handed him this afternoon. I handed him a new opening speech for the very, very top of the show. He's standing there all by himself, and I mean, there couldn't be more pressure on this kid who 3 months ago was still learning really how to wash himself. So here he is. Here he is. It's just him, and I handed him a new speech. I mean, it's like really crappy of me to do that, but hopefully it's a little better way for me to say it, and it'll therefore help the audience fall desperately, madly in love with him. Almost as soon as he opens his mouth.
Well, we already have. You've got 2 fans already,
and he's learned it. And he's learned it. He's learned it already.
Well, you guys are amazing. So we are by law. We have to read.
By law, we have to
read this. We want to let everyone know that if you are interested in ordering tickets, so first of all, let's see. You start your performances on the 31st of January.
Yes.
And you go. It looks like March 3rd.
March the 3rd.
So we really have a very short window of time to get in
get
here
your tickets
to see
now.
And
them.
orchestra seats are as low as $39. They told me to say.
I have
into
to
the
tell you
microphone.
something. There is not a bad
$39
seat in this theater. This is New Jersey is actually very blessed to
Great
have,
theater.
to have
I think this
year.
is the
It really
first
is.
show that has the new chairs.
Oh, really?
Wait till you sit yourself down in these new seats.
Well, we're not leaving. All right, so here what we want to tell everyone is to go to papermill.org, or you can call the box office at 973-376-4343. Well, we know you'll be on stage. I'm sure you'll be backstage in the audience. Jerry, you'll be all there
I'm
as
going to
well.
be cooking for the cast.
You'll be-
I'll do anything to earn a living. It's
He'll be
very
the
hard.
bartender. We'll recognize you. We'll put our order now.
And I love your tagline, my very own British invasion, a musical fable of rock and roll, rock and love.
Well, we
Love
want
it.
to thank
Love
you
it.
all very, very much. Say your names one more time, please.
Jonny Amies.
Rick Elice.
Jerry Mitchell.
And the Shift Chicks, we
And the
cannot
Shift
wait
Chicks,
to come
yes.
back and see you on opening night. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank
we
you
know
for
that
doing
this was
this.
really tough for you to do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, you're free. We're gonna keep going.
Great.
Go
Absolutely.
practice. Because if you want to get to Carnegie Hall, practice. All right then. Thank you so
Have a
much.
great night, guys.
Thank you so much. Oh, this
Maybe
was
we'll
so
take a
much
peek down
I
there.
think
Who
I want to
knows?
go sit in those seats.
Yeah, you think you want to go?
I think I want to go see those seats.
I think you want to go take a peek down there.
Yeah, I don't know,
think
but I
Shane
am.
will let us.
I am very excited for this show. This was really nice, and you know what? It was really wonderful of them to come and give us their time because you don't even realize it.
No,
I mean,
look at this place. I mean, I knew they were on a tight schedule,
Yeah.
but I didn't know it was like this. This is like a.
and you know what's
tightly
interesting?
run ship.
While we're here, I don't know if you hear what's happening
It's
on the roof.
pouring
It
rain.
must be pouring rain, but
Yes.
we are very thankful that it is just pouring rain and not pouring snow. I want to disconnect that.
I gotcha.
We're going to disconnect.
You want this one disconnected?
Yes, we'd like that one disconnected, just so that we don't have any interesting noises coming through that we don't want.
Any weird feedback?
So you know what? So
Reverb?
now the Shift Chicks are
Shift
back
Chicks?
in the
Did
back.
you call
I
us
said
the
no,
Shift
I did
Chicks?
not. Now the Shift Chicks are back in Shift Chicks mode, and we have a couple things that we wanted to talk about today.
We did.
I believe. So as kind of a follow up to the conversation we had, it's not old news. It's sort of old news, because the Super Bowl, as I like to call it, the Stupid Bowl, is next week.
Stupid Bowl.
And as a follow-up to the playoff game between the Rams and the Saints, which is becoming extremely controversial,
God.
like
This is-
ridiculously
it's out of control.
controversial. Now somebody's going to, I think the Saints are going to federal court. There's no way they're going to redo this. There's no
No,
way they're going to do it. I mean, it's like
absolutely
$100 million to put everything on hold.
You
But what's
can't.
interesting is the Rams player is now being fined
It's ludicrous.
like $26,000 for a helmet-to-helmet hit. Okay? So set this up. You don't call a play, all right? But
You
now
can't.
you're going to go back and say a
You
play
can't
that
do it.
never happened technically in
Right.
the game, I'm fining you for your behavior.
no, you
can't
can't
do
it.
that.
It's like giving somebody a seatbelt ticket and then 30 days later trying to give them a speeding ticket. Inside joke.
And who would that have happened to? Thank goodness. Well,
Yeah, that's never going to happen. I mean, he got the fine, but I would fight it.
Well,
If I were him, I
he's
would fight
not.
it. I don't care if it
actually.
was $27 or
he's not
you know.
fighting it. But I think the team should pay. Listen, things happen whether he did it on purpose or not. We talk about this too, the controversy. I need to be honest with you. all of these things that happen really make me lose interest in the game. To be really honest with you, I'm
Yes,
not.
'cause
I mean, I'm not.
They don't play football anymore. They just don't.
But
It's
there's so
like-
much controversy all the time, between the whole kneeling thing that was
Right.
going on for a while, and I think we got past it. There's a lot of people who
So I
wouldn't even
lost so much interest. This
I've
year.
lost interest. There were
Yeah.
people. There are a lot of celebs. Now I happen to like Maroon 5. They're going to be doing the halftime show, but there's a lot of celebrities that weren't even interested in participating because they're just so aggravated with the whole situation. But there is something else I wanted to bring out, which I also think. Because I'm so sick of labels, and we talked about this. Remember at Christmas time, the Rockefeller tree. We had to talk about the first Latinx couple
Right.
and the lesbian couple. Like they had to bring out all of
the
these
labels,
things
yes.
because they donated the Christmas tree. So this year we have cheerleaders, 2 male cheerleaders in the Super Bowl, the Rams cheerleaders.
Yes. What's wrong with that?
Big deal.
Who cares?
Big deal. Male cheerleaders are part
First
of
of all,
every
there's been-
squad in college.
Exactly.
Like, what is
There's-
the big deal
There's a
here?
ton of male cheerleaders in
Because
in
it's the
high
stupid
school
bowl.
and college.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just tired of labels. I'm tired of we have to always
And the
point
whole
out
hype with the
the
commercials.
first this and the first that.
Yeah.
Oh, the commercials are funny.
I like the commercials.
Come on.
They've gotten really bad lately.
Well, I have
they
a
used
couple.
to be good.
I have a couple of insights onto the commercials, and
Oh, you
each
do?
day apparently now they're releasing more. So there's going to be, I think, a pretty funny commercial with Christina Applegate and the M&Ms. I love the
Oh, yeah.
M&M guys,
The
where they
M&M
keep
guys are
locking
fun.
her out of her car.
Oh, okay.
So that looks like it's going to be adorable. Pepsi has 3 different commercials that they're kind of showing.
One with
Steve
Cardi.
Carell, one with Cardi, and Lil Jon. I
Lil
can't
Jon.
even say it. Lil.
Lil.
When I see it in
Just
print,
Lil.
Lil. It makes me Lil. Bumble. This one actually I find very interesting. So Bumble is a dating app. And this whole campaign featuring Serena Williams talks about the ball is in her court. So it's a great
okay.
play on words, which I
Right.
love. But aside from that, it's the idea that women are taking control of relationships, and I guess they're making the decisions
Damn straight.
through the app. So since you're a single gal, I would like you to be our test case with Bumble.
Oh, thank you so much.
So I don't know. I think it's an app. Like I think
You think I'm going to go on a dating app?
No, I just want you to see. I want you to test it. I can't do that. I can't sign up. But you can just.
Can I use
go,
a fake
Could
name?
you just play?
All right, I'll play.
Just play the game. Okay.
All right.
And let's see if it's really true. But I think women should always take
And
this.
I want you to sign up for a Jewish men's app. Pretend you're a man.
Because do I look like a Jewish man? Well, you're not pretending you're single. You are single. Happily.
How
by
do
the
you
way.
know?
Well, okay. And then
Actually, I am.
my favorite of all are the Budweiser commercials
Oh, of
between the
course.
dogs and the Clydesdales. But
Always.
so apparently now Budweiser plants are now wind powered. So if you didn't get enough wind from drinking the
Oh,
beer,
yeah,
now they're making it with wind.
Well, I heard you get wind from other things, but that's
Well,
beside the point.
But now they show like the dogs, like so the horses are pulling the Budweiser cart, and the dog is on top of the beer, and his like jowls are and his ears are in the
Oh,
wind.
my
It's
God.
just a great feel.
You've been doing a lot of Super Bowl commercial research,
Well,
huh?
because they really are to me.
You don't
they
wanna be
are-
surprised?
They are to be the best part. And
Are
I
you
saw
watching the
something
Super
else
Bowl?
today. The Stella Artois.
Oh, yes. That's with Mr. Big.
No, Sex and the City and the Big Lebowski. And we
Mr.
talked about
yeah,
this. I don't know the movie. Do you know the movie?
No, I know Mr.
Do we
Big.
care about the
No, I
movie?
don't care about the movie.
So Carrie Bradshaw character is whatchamacallit?
I don't.
She reenacts. So she comes back as Carrie Bradshaw, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yes.
SJP.
SJP.
As we
Please,
call her.
yes.
As we call her.
As I know
SJP.
her. When I text her, it's SJP.
Reemerges as Carrie Bradshaw.
Right.
And what is his name that plays the Big Lebowski guy?
You know what? I don't know.
He's that big guy. Big guy. Anyway, he reprises his role as the dude. The dude from the Big Lebowski, and neither
Okay.
one of them get their drink of choice. So apparently, his drink is a White Russian. Of course, hers is the Cosmo. And when they each decline and order a Stella Artois, it causes this big scene in the restaurant. It's actually very funny, and there is a whole initiative with Stella Artois and water. So it's kind of more of almost like a charity type commercial too, as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
they do good things. So we like people who do good things, but nobody does anything as good as this place.
Absolutely not.
Papermill
And you know,
Playhouse, folks.
somebody's roaming around and circling the table. Should we call him over, or I don't know?
Circling the table.
Yeah.
We have a
I
guest.
think
we have an impromptu
I
guest.
think I see somebody
Plug
circling
that
the
microphone back in.
Table. Let me plug this sucker back in.
This is that handsome guy with the
Yes.
3 names.
Debonair guy. Yes.
We know you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome back to us, Shane.
Hey, thanks so much for being here tonight.
So introduce
Thanks for
yourself
having
and
us.
tell us give us your position.
I am I got to be careful with
So
what I say
Shane.
here. I'm Shane Austin Miller.
I
I'm
love the
director
3
of press and PR here at Papermill, and I also run the show choir at Papermill Playhouse.
And you
Which is
do
extraordinary.
a fabulous, fabulous
Thank
job.
you.
We're
We-
looking at the flyer just for this alone, but just in general, just letting people know that you guys exist. What a wonderful, wonderful venue.
Thank you. And we
Such
just went
great
through
place.
a multi-million-dollar renovation this summer, so we have all new seats, a beautiful new theater, and some really great shows coming up.
And
Can't wait.
seriously not a bad seat in the house.
No, there really isn't. No matter where you sit.
We had the
It's
privilege
fabulous.
of coming here for
Holiday Inn.
Yeah,
Were
that's
the
fun,
seats
right?
new then?
The seats were new, yeah.
so they
it was
were.
over the
We
summer.
commented on
Yes,
them. We were like,
we made it. Yes,
this
Yes.
is really
Yes,
comfy.
very
There are
comfortable.
no longer springs in your behind.
Well, some people like that kind of thing. I don't want to.
You want the real theater
I'm not
effect.
judging.
We
I'm not
don't. We
judging.
don't offend anyone. Well, we offend everybody. We offend everyone equally. So do me a favor. I don't know that I did you justice before.
Sure.
Could you please tell everyone the dates and how to get tickets to this unbelievable
Sure.
show?
Well, my very own British Invasion begins performances on Thursday, January 31st, and
Almost.
runs through March 3rd.
2 days. 2 days from now.
2 days from now.
Oh, wow, so we really caught them.
Tomorrow is our final dress rehearsal, and it's very exciting.
Wow.
So that was really nice
yeah.
of them to
It
stop
really
and
was.
take some
That was
time with us. We
fabulous.
really
And this
want
is
to
a
thank
world
you.
premiere, so that's a whole nother, a whole nother level because this has never been done anywhere before. So they're creating something from scratch, and that's really exciting to be a
This might
part
be
of.
very exciting for you.
Very
yes.
exciting.
So it's a birth of something.
And
truly.
to have Jerry Mitchell do it, I mean,
I
Jerry
know,
Mitchell birthed
right?
Hairspray, and he birthed
He's
Kinky
so-
Boots, and Pretty Woman. It's now running on Broadway. Those
He
are all
was
his
so
shows.
modest. He wasn't even talking about it.
Yeah, I know. We had to
They're not
ask them.
bad
to-
looking, right?
No,
Yeah.
they're actually all very nice.
All
looking.
three of them
They really
very
are.
good-looking, yes.
What a wonderful career for you. I don't know how you got here, but it's
my
really
father
wonderful.
was a Broadway actor, actually, and he thought that I was going to be, which is why I have 3 names.
Just in case, pick one.
Well, no, because if you're an equity member, a union member, you have to have a name that no one else has. So he gave me Austin as a middle name, so I could drop Miller, and Shane Austin sounds very
it does.
theatrical,
It
right?
does. I like
Of course,
it.
I didn't land in that particular position, but I am in the theater, so.
So you're
Yeah,
using
you're
the
still in
talents
your
that
life.
God gave you to do
That is
best.
true.
And this
Actually-
is a great field to be in.
Wonderful, and I've been part of the birth of many shows. My favorite being Newsies. Disney's Newsies started here.
Oh, really?
And I was a super fan in high school of that film, which nobody else was. Trust me, nobody else was.
It's okay to be a nerd now. It's cool, by the way.
Yeah, Christian Bale was in it, but he doesn't admit that he was in it.
That's
He was in it.
right. Well, he's risen above that. He's vice president now.
So,
So,
yeah, right,
really.
right. So when we finally got the title, I really went to work, and we did a nationwide contest, and we got the country excited about that, and that's why that thing moved on. And now it's one of the most produced shows in the country.
So really, we really have no idea that once the run here for My Very Own British Invasion concludes,
You don't know what's gonna happen.
This show could go on the road.
It certainly could, and not to say anything specific, but Jerry Mitchell doesn't do a whole lot of regional theater anymore. He's
Exactly.
a multiple Tony Award winner, so if he didn't think this show had legs, he wouldn't be here.
We're just so excited.
We've had
for
several
you.
shows leave here and go to Broadway.
Oh,
haven't
many,
you?
yeah. Bandstand is another one that
Bronx
recently
Tale, right?
Bronx Tale, and there's others that are still having a life. Ever After, which was premiered here, just did another regional production,
Right.
and Harry Connick Jr. was here last year.
Yeah,
and-
we unfortunately we couldn't
So,
get
Fran,
into that
it's
one.
possible that we're here. We're having a career. After
You never
this.
know. We this could be the start of,
Sure.
of theater for us. Well, actually, what I kind of want to say, because the show broadcasts all over the internet,
Yeah.
obviously, and so anybody who's within our
Worldwide.
we are worldwide.
That's right.
We're on the web,
Even in UK.
and maybe even in the dark web. We don't really know.
we might be in the dark
It's
web.
fun listening to Johnny talk, isn't it?
Oh, I love it.
You can't get enough.
I
You
wish
just
I could
can't-
talk like that.
You just can't get enough
And he's
of
so
any
nice,
of
and
them.
everybody is
He's
as
so
nice as he
young.
is. Everyone
Really?
is. Everybody in this company
is a
is so
sweetheart.
nice. And we've had some companies that weren't so nice.
Yeah.
So it's really nice
Yeah.
to have a really sweet group of people in here.
Well,
so.
we wish you nothing but the utmost success. And I do
Thank
want to
you.
say, for people who are in the sound of our voice in a fairly local area,
Mm-hmm.
New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, even Connecticut, Broadway is fabulous. There's nothing like it, obviously.
Yes.
But,
Nothing like
you
the
don't
Great White
always
Way.
want to have to do that.
Yeah.
We love coming here and seeing this show, which could very easily
Part
be on
so
Broadway.
easily.
these
Part,
are the
it's
same
just
actors, the same
unbel-
designers,
yeah,
the same
right.
directors that are on
Everything,
Broadway.
yeah, exactly.
So you're
So
getting
this
Broadway
is
here.
this is
And the same fabulous restaurants. All you
Except
have
cheaper.
Cheaper.
You don't
yes.
have to deal with New York City parking.
$20 for a glass of wine.
So-
No, yeah.
I mean, I think it's $10 to park, if
yeah.
that. I think,
Seriously,
Yeah.
who cares? Yeah.
And it's a local. You're supporting local business. We have our fabulous friends
Oh,
at the
yes.
Hills.
The
We
Hills
love
are
the Hills
fantastic.
Tavern.
I
Like
love
the
the
food
Hills.
is great.
Yeah.
Angela, hopefully everyone remembers back. We did
Yes.
our Facebook Live there. We had
That
such a
was fun.
wonderful time.
We had a good time there.
But it's nice to support local.
For sure. And we got 2 more shows this season, so don't miss Benny and June, the musical.
I saw that outside.
Yes.
Based on the Johnny Depp movie. We're really excited about that one. And then we're closing our season with Disney's Mickey's Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, that's
which, if you
awesome.
have kids, you need to get your tickets now because it's nearly sold out already for the entire run. Yeah.
Get your tickets.
Well,
for
there you
Beauty
have
and
it.
the
And then
Beast.
really quick, because I know you also have things to do, tell us a little bit about the choir. I know you were doing some big
Sure.
things.
Yeah.
This
Well, I'm
past-
actually
since
here
we
with
saw you.
my intern, Zach, who is the beatboxer
Come
in our
on,
choir.
beatboxer. You're going to have to share the microphone. Go ahead.
And so the show choir is 80 students between the ages of 15 and 22. We rehearse 9 months of the year and tour 3 months of the year. And it's a fantastic program. But before we go, you have to let Zach beatbox.
Oh, please
for
do.
you.
Please do.
Please do. We
beatbox
have
for
never
us.
had this will be the premiere of the first beatboxer ever on the Makeshift Happen show. Take it away. How do you do that? That was, oh my goodness.
Well done,
yes,
Zach.
applause. Oh my gosh. That's
And those of you that are
fabulous.
wondering, Zach is a short Jewish white boy. So
Zach kinda got a little
he's a
fro
very,
thing there
very
going.
very talented gentleman. So
And he's very fortunate
was
to work
awesome.
with, to absolutely work
That
with
was
the
really
best.
good.
So
And we do a
much
lot of
success.
pentatonics and things that require the beatboxing.
Love
so
all
it's
that.
yeah. So you can check Papermill's website to find our concert dates and come check us out.
Yeah, and that's
Certainly
that's
will.
papermill.org. We are org.
Org because we're a not for profit.
We are, yes.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Well, you have our blessing, and we are so excited. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for
and,
having me.
and getting us some power.
Thank you for being here.
And
thanks for the
we loved
power.
every single minute
You guys
of it.
are always welcome.
Thank you.
Oh,
And
thank
we'll be
you.
back for
Yeah.
the premiere.
And that's not a
for
threat,
opening
it's a
night.
promise.
No, it's a threat.
It's a threat.
It's a threat. We in a nice way. We threaten. We threaten nicely.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Well, we have had. what
I
an
love
expe-
Sean Austin Miller.
I
Don't you?
look at the three names.
Oh God, I called him Sean again.
Oh, jeez. Well, you know who you remind? You know why? I'll tell you why. Because you remind us of Sean Hayes.
Yes, yes. Is
No,
that
he,
why
no,
I keep
he
doing
does
that?
when, especially like your profile.
Just Jack.
And
Come on,
remember,
give me a
and
Just
remember
Jack.
the show is back on again. So he's
Yeah.
all over, and you
You're
do.
right.
I think if I were you, I'd go for.
He's
stunt
better
double.
looking though.
Well, you're much taller.
Yeah.
I think you're taller.
Taller and better looking.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'll take his money too. Actually,
He's
right.
dashing, actually. Shane Austin Miller.
He's a dash. All right. Well, you know what? We're going to wrap it up
We are.
because they got to close us up.
They do. They have to
They have to get going.
pull us, pull the
we-
plug on us.
Please don't pull the plug.
Pull a plug on us. Just
Well,
do it once. We've had a fabulous time.
This has
was
been
absolutely
a lot of
amazing.
fun. And you know what?
I really loved
I
it.
want to say thank you and congratulations to both of us because look at us.
Yes,
we
we
are
set it
we are
up.
podcast on the go.
Our first live podcast.
I love it.
And we
Now
also
that-
want to do a shout out to Richard Hillman PR and Philip Karuba, who was absolutely pivotal. Yeah.
Pivotable.
Want to put my new tongue in?
He can turn. We can
Okay,
turn him
good.
around. We can make him pivot.
he pivots as well.
He's kind of like a Ken doll.
No, but
he's like
you
a
know,
Phil
he
doll.
organized all of this, and he deserves a lot of credit as well.
Thank you,
Philip.
Phil. I can't wait to actually. You've met him in person. I have not had the
No,
privilege. Oh, you haven't.
No, we're gonna meet him.
We're
going
going
to
to meet you then on the 10th. We are
Yes.
looking for. You'll recognize us.
I think
You
I
can't-
might have
We'll
met
be the ones
Richard.
talking the entire time.
Yeah,
No, not
exactly.
through the show though. We never talk
No,
through the show.
we don't talk through the show.
All right. Well, we got to get on the road. Wish us luck going home because it's kind of yucky.
Yeah,
we
we're
got
gonna-
schmutz.
I'll do a Facebook
New Jersey
Live on the way
schmutz.
home.
Oh, good for us. All right, kids,
So-
go out there and
and
make
make
shift
shift
happen.